Yo, what's up, sports bettors? I got 5 picks for you in this video on PrizePicks. So, NBA playoffs, there's just a lot of value out there. So, I'm going to go through 5 picks in this video. We're also going to explain PrizePicks strategy. How do you beat PrizePicks long term? So, just as an example, my first play is in the Yankees-Twins game. Right, so I'm on the first inning total runs, under half of a total run. So when you're using OddsJam, all you want to do is you want to take these bets in bold and in green. Right, so if you use FanDuel, you'd want to take the under 22.5 total games in this tennis match, right? There can be value in tennis, there can be value in NBA, MLB, whatever, right? I say this in a lot of videos, but as a sharp bettor, you just want to follow the value. You want to follow the market, follow the data. Right, 99% of sports bettors, they trust their gut, their heart, their emotions. That's why they lose money. Right, you got to do something different if you want to beat the sports books, and it really boils down to following the data. Right, so you're going to see Caesars right here. They have the Nerfy, the no runs first inning. You can see right here, OddsJam is just updating odds from, all these different sports books. So Caesars has the Nerfy, the no runs first inning, as the heavily favored outcome. So why does this matter, right? Why do we care that all the sports books have the under half of a first inning total run as the heavily favored outcome? Well, on PrizePicks, right, they're not changing your payouts based on you selecting over or under, right? PrizePicks doesn't change your payouts based on you selecting over or under. So I've explained this before, but to beat PrizePicks, right, to be profitable on PrizePicks long term, all you have to do, literally all you have to do to beat PrizePicks long term and make money on this platform is you have to win over 54.3% of your player props. So what I mean by that is, let's say you want to bet on Trae Young assists, right? You have to be able to hit your player props, your over-unders, above 54.3% of the time. So if you're only winning 53% of your picks, if you're hitting 53% of your over-unders, you're losing 47%, you're going to be negative 8% ROI. You're going to lose money on PrizePicks long term. But if you're hitting, let's say, 56% of your player props, you're going to be profitable. You're going to have a 12% ROI on PrizePicks long term. So really all you care about when you're playing on PrizePicks, like literally all you're looking for is bets that are winning over 54.3% of the time, right? You're looking through the market. You're looking for player props that are hitting over 54.3% of the time. Ideally, you can get something that's hitting like 55, 56% of the time, because that's going to be a great play and profitable long-term in your PrizePicks entry. So, I'm not talking about BS in this video. There's no, oh, this is a lock, right? There's none of that BS. I'm just literally breaking down the math of PrizePicks, explaining how you beat this platform long-term, and all you have to do to beat PrizePicks long-term is win over 54.25% of your player props, right? That's all you have to do. So essentially, you turn to the sports books, right? So all OddsJam is showing you on the positive EV tool, it works for sports books, again, like FanDuel, but it also works for these fantasy sites like PrizePicks, is all OddsJam is showing you, just like this Nerfy, right, no runs first inning in Yankees-Twins, is it showing you spots, I apologize, that just crashed, but it's just showing you spots where sportsbooks have one side heavily favored. So here, all the books, right? All the data points in the market. Bet Online, a really sharp sportsbook. FanDuel, Caesars, all the books, right? We have tons of data points. All these books set lines independently. So we have tons of different data points. Sportsbooks posting odds. Bovada has this at minus 150. All these books are saying the same thing. The under half of a first inning total run is the favored outcome. Right, so that's a play that we know, right? All the sports books are telling us the Nerfy's a lot more likely. The Nerfy's going to be hitting in this game over 50% of the time, right? All the sports books have the under really heavily favored. So this is exactly what you're looking for when you're trying to make money on PrizePicks. So I've explained this before, but what you can use to kind of figure out what's the win probability of my play, so let me reopen this right here, is what's called a No-vig odds calculator. So this calculator is really useful. It's also really important. So if you don't understand it, read through this text. I'll include my email in the description. You can reach out with any questions, stuff like that. But all this, tool does is it takes a sportsbook's market and tells you the win probability for the bet, right? So just as a simple example, man, I keep zooming in too much. So let's do that. So as an example, FanDuel here, they have the Nerfy, the under, as the favorite outcome at minus 148. they have the over at plus 116. Right? So essentially, according to FanDuel, the market they're putting out, the odds they're putting out, they have the under favored. So obviously the under is going to be more likely. The under is going to be more likely to occur, but you don't know the exact win probability. So if you put their market into a no-vig calculator, what this does is it strips out the vig and tells you, hey, this play is 56.31% to win. Right? So according to FanDuel's market, how much juice they have towards the under is 56.31% to occur, right? So according to FanDuel, this play's winning 56.31% of the time. That's higher than 54.25%. So this play would be really profitable in a 5 flex, right? It would lead to an ROI of 14.2%. So what you'll notice, though, is all these sportsbooks have different odds, right? So we have tons of different data points. So Caesars is a little less bullish, right? They're a little less bullish. So they have the under at minus 145, the over at plus 115. So unlike FanDuel, FanDuel had this 56.31% to win. If we put in Caesars market into the no-vig odds calculator, it's only 55.99% to win, so slightly lower. So 55.99%, according to Caesars, this play has an 11.9% profit margin, right, in a PrizePicks 5 flex, so a little lower. So long story short, you want to look at all these data points in the market, right? You want to look at every single data point. So Bovada, they have the under at minus 150. So they have the under a bit more favored than Caesars, 56.33% to win. So essentially, you look at all these data points in the market and you get a sense of, okay, the under is a lot more likely to occur. We're really confident that it's hitting over 54.25% of the time because we have so many data points. All these sportsbooks posting odds are just data points, right, telling you how favored the under should be. So these are the first 2 player props I went with, long story short. Yankees, Twins, Nerfy, as well as Jonathan Oviedo, under 5.5 strikeouts. Literally just following the data. In this no-vig odds calculator, I mean, it's really, important to understand. But again, what it takes a sportsbook's market and tells you the win probability for that bet. So obviously, unsurprisingly, the Celtics are pretty big favorites tonight. They're like minus 800, minus 1,000 odds, depending on the sportsbook. So if you look at FanDuel, they have the Hawks at plus 570, right? They have the Celtics at minus 820. So the Celtics are really big favorites, right? You got to bet $820 to win back 100. So according to the sportsbooks, according to FanDuel, the Celtics are 85.66% to win this game, right? Because they have so much juice. So you're using sportsbook odds, right? You're using market data, sportsbook odds, to figure out the win probability for your plays. So it doesn't matter if you're looking at money lines, whatever, you can use this no-vig odds calculator. So according to betting markets, right, if you take an average odds, so the Hawks are on average 621, and the Celtics are on average minus 911. So if you put that into a no-vig calculator, you're going to see the market, right? Essentially the market, all sportsbooks, if you weight them, the market is telling you, yo, the Celtics are 86.66% to win this game, right? And this is better than any other projections, right? This is based on sportsbook data. These sportsbooks invest hundreds of millions of dollars in their ability to set lines. And also, it's based on, what sports bettors are betting on. If all the action starts coming in on the Hawks, if sports bettors are like, yo, the Hawks are more than 13.34% to win this game, I think they're more like 20%. So if all the sharp bettors, the syndicates, if they start hammering the Hawks money line because they think the Hawks are more likely than 13.34% to win this game, lines will move towards the Hawks, right? So the market is essentially a reflection of the belief of all sports bettors, right? Lines are set the way they are because of action from sports bettors. Sportsbooks put out odds. They don't want to have risk. They move around odds due to supply and demand. I mean, just like the price of a stock is based on where supply and demand is equal, if there's more demand, more people buying, the price of the stock goes up. If there's more people selling, there's more supply, the price of the stock goes down. It's no different in sports betting. If all the action starts coming in on the Hawks, an unbalanced amount of action, sportsbooks will move odds in favor of the Hawks. Anyways, back to PrizePicks. So to beat PrizePicks, right, we just need to find plays that are winning over 54.25% of the time. So you can use the positive EV tool, right, which we just looked at. So the positive EV tool right here. But you can also use this tool called the fantasy screen, right? So what this tool does is it literally quantifies for you, hey, this is the win probability for your bet based on sportsbook odds. So for Derek White, as an example, all the sportsbooks have his under, right? His under 1.5 turnovers as the heavily favored outcome. Caesars has it all the way down at minus 160. So OddsJam is literally just pulling in these millions of odds from sportsbooks, updating them in real time. So for Derek White, all the books have his under, right? Him more likely to get under 1.5 turnovers. And this play is 55.8% to win based on all the sportsbooks putting out odds. Then you can see in the Yankees-Twins game, we have the Nerfy, right? We have Luke Weaver over 4.5 strikeouts. All the books have his over heavily favored. You know, we have the Nerfy in the Padres-Cubs game. All the books have the under heavily favored. So this tool will just show you all the plays in green are going to be winning over 54.25% of the time. So they're going to be profitable, right? You don't want to go with these plays in red. So these plays in red, for example, like, you know, just as an example, Jason Tatum under 3.5 threes. Sportsbooks have his under, you know, amount around like minus 128 odds. So there's slight juice, right? The sportsbooks have his under as the slightly favored outcome, but there's not enough. You're only winning this play 52.84% of the time, so it doesn't beat that 54.25%. So you just want to take these plays in green, where sportsbooks have the, you know, as opposed to, you know, Jason Tatum under 3.5 threes, you know, it was around like minus 128 on the sportsbook, so the sportsbooks have the under very slightly favored. For Derek White turnovers, you know, sportsbooks have the under around like minus 145. The under is very favored. So that's a play that's hitting 55.8% of the time. So that's going to be profitable in your PrizePicks entry. So again, I'll include this spreadsheet as well as my email in the description. I know I cover a lot in these videos. I really try to explain sharp sports betting strategy, everything like that. But we have White under 1.5 turnovers, Nerfy in the Yankees-Twins game, Nerfy in the Padres-Cubs game, Oviedo under 5.5 strikeouts, Clint Capella to record a block over half of a blocked shot. All these plays just from the fantasy screen or from that positive EV tool right here. So from the fantasy screen or the positive EV tool. So fantasy screen right here. So let's go ahead. Let's make some money.